Okay, so here we are. Okay, so here we are. I have been booted down into the kitchen. My wife was awakened by the sound of me reading poems. She was not excited. So the next poem I'm going to read is called Dulce et Decorum Est by Wilfred Owen. It's a poem out of the First World War. Owen was involved in the First World War and he hated it. And he uses Horace's inscription, Dulce et Decorum Est Pro Patria Mori. And Horace is a Roman poet who touted the glory of dying in battle for your country. And this stands in stark contrast to that. And in stark contrast to really anybody who glorifies war. He tells a story of, in the first half of the poem, he tells a story of a group of soldiers who are walking away from the front, having been relieved finally, and they're exhausted. And they're so exhausted they don't hear the sounds of gas shells falling behind them. And since you studied history, you know what gas shells do. And describes the death of a man who didn't get his gas mask on in time. In the second part of the poem, he discusses the effect that it's had on him, and he is describing it to a man he sarcastically calls friend, and it's possibly a recruiter or really anybody who glorifies this war as something to be proud of. Dulce et Decorum Est by Wilfred Owen. And ironically enough, a guy who hated war as much as Owen did, he died 1 week before the end of the First World War. Dulce et Decorum Est by Wilfred Owen. Bent double like old beggars under sacks, knock-kneed, coughing like hags, we cursed through sludge, till on the haunting flares we turned our backs and towards our distant rest began to trudge. Men marched to sleep. Many had lost their boots but limped on, bloodshod. All went lame, all blind, drunk with fatigue, deaf even to the hoots of gas shells dropping softly behind. Gas, gas! Quick, boys! An ecstasy of fumbling, fitting the clumsy helmets just in time, but someone still was yelling out and stumbling and floundering like a man in fire or lime. Dim through the misty panes and thick green light, as under a green sea I saw him drowning. In all my dreams, before my helpless sight, he plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning. If in some smothering dreams you too could pace behind the wagon that we flung him in, and watch the white eyes writhing in his face, his hanging face like a devil's sick of sin, if you could hear at every jolt the blood come gargling from the froth-corrupted lungs, obscene as cancer, bitter as the cud of vile incurable sores on innocent tongues, my friend, you would not tell with such high zest to children ardent for some desperate glory the old lie, Dulce et Decorum Est, Pro Patria Mori.